This is Jonathan Agar for Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Kalle Sauerland here in Telford ahead of Saturday night's Misfits card. Just wondering what you think of John Fury's comments where he feels that Jake should pay up for that bet that they made in the press conference.
And I thought John would cover that. He's not wrong. They made a deal on the stage. So
Jake's team says they haven't signed it.
We don't know what happened off stage. I mean, at the end of the day, if me and you shake hands, but I don't know what's in their contracts, but on what we've seen from the public, and on this case, I'm just a member of the public watching the fight, I saw that press conference and I'm thinking, that's an interesting one. At the time, before, I'm thinking, what happens if Fury wins and what happens if Paul wins? And obviously Fury won. So I don't know. I don't know. But if it was just that conversation, you'd have to say that John Fury's right. He's got to pay up because they've agreed. And actually, it was Jake Paul who was saying, "No, we're on for it. And it was almost like Tommy didn't want to do the bet, and it was John who was insisting on the bet. But it was Jake who came up with a bet. So, but I don't know what's happened on then after whether their lawyers have said to each other, oh, by the way, that was null and void and whatever. But if that was, if that was down to Boozer and they've had to shake hands on it, he owes him that money. It's as simple as that. What's happened in between, I've got no idea.
And just moving on to some of your stable.
It's a funny one, isn't it? I do love John Fury. I've got to say that.
There was a who's who of boxing out there last week.
That did tickle me.
Just moving on to Chris Eubank Jr. has activated his rematch clause to face Liam Smith. Is there any update on when and where that fight takes place?
No, I mean, sort of, I guess it's sort of May, June is a target, but you want to make sure it's the right venue, place, and, try not to, there's quite a lot of boxing going on around that time, so finding the right home for it. It's a blockbuster of a rematch, isn't it? A lot of questions to be answered there. So looking forward to that.
Is it your understanding that Chris will stick with Roy Jones? Obviously there was criticism from certain people about their partnership, etc. So is your understanding that they will continue to work together in the rematch?
I'm not involved on the sporting side with Chris. I'm always there if he wants a chat, but no, I believe Roy's going to be full part of the team. I haven't been told any different. No.
And I saw some rumours about potentially it could land at Goodison Park because Anfield's not ready. Is it your expectation that Chris will travel up north for this fight?
I don't expect it to be at Goodison Park. I haven't heard anything about that. No, I mean, I think the venue last time was fine. I think there were a couple of little security issues around the last show, but that's something that has to be addressed. It's a big fight, Manchester Arena. I don't know. I mean, I just think that the whole Liverpool thing wasn't that about Anfield being a Liverpool football club sort of thing. I don't know. I'm not sure. Why would you do it, Everton? I don't know. If I was boxing, I wouldn't want to be fighting at Arsenal, would I?
I would. Anyway, Josh Kelly, what's the latest with him? When's he going to return?
I think, hopefully we'll have an announcement on Josh in a couple of weeks. We just announced our first couple of Channel 5 dates this year. And Josh, we'll be announcing stuff around Josh a couple of weeks from now. Lyndon and Arthur are very excited that we announced that IBO World Championship light heavyweight. Obviously exciting scene. Anthony Yard, Dan Aziz, Callum Smith. There's some big names at light heavy in the UK, and I think that I know it's the IBO World title. People say, "Oh, that's not the one of the bigger ones," but the IBO, in this case, actually represents probably the most realistic of the world titles. If I look at the fact that Petreviev is probably going to fight Bivol, so I think that could be a nice domestic. Almost a domestic World Boxing Super Series.
Is there going to be a return of the World Boxing Super Series?
Yeah, I mean they're working on plans. I'm actually over to see World Boxing Super Series next month. That's the biggest part of boxing that I miss, and that was mainly COVID. Obviously, when you run a global tournament in COVID times. I know we like to forget COVID times now, but it absolutely it was impossible to even think about doing a WBSS at that time. I was lucky enough we did manage to get the final done from the season before in a lockdown. So let's say, of course, no. I mean, the brand's far too big to let it just sit there and sleep. No, absolutely.
There's a chance of a heavyweight tournament one day.
Oh,
We want to see.
Yeah, I know. I think actually there was just before COVID, there was that moment when it really was there was very serious discussions around it without AJ and Fury at the time. But you see how quickly heavyweights, the whole situation changes, So I think we sort of missed that moment. But you could do it at any time. At the moment there's 10, 12 heavyweights I could say right now, and love to watch all of them in the tournament, So one day,
Just finally, Kalle, obviously last week, I believe it was, the WBC cleared Conor Benn, reinstating him into WBC rankings. Conor Benn has since come out and said he doesn't agree with certain things that were said by the WBC in terms of their reasons for the failed tests. What's your reaction to what happened last week?
I think and I don't think it's not a criticism of the WBC, because I think it's the whole process which they got into much later. It's just so slow. Everything is so slow. I mean, I know they got this 2,700-page document, whatever it was, explaining what it was, but I haven't got a copy of it. No one sent me a copy of it, and didn't get one through the letterbox, and I certainly probably wouldn't be in a position to read it. I wouldn't understand it. But someone's made a decision based on that document. The experts have bought the excuse, so to speak, and they've cleared him. So he's now free to fight. As simple as that. Now, what does that mean? That means he's got to go get himself a licence. He has to choose where he wants to get that licence. He's publicly stated before he doesn't want a British board licence again. I don't know if he's changed his mind on that. Not really my business at the moment. Maybe it becomes my business one day, but right now it's not. But yeah, I mean, there's not outside of the UK, there's probably not a single sanctioning body that won't give him a licence, because they've got no reason not to give him a licence. That's the black and white of boxing.
So in terms of the Eubank rematch, the Eubank fight taking place. It
does feel like that fight did actually take place, yeah. But it didn't, unfortunately, no.
So what, in terms of being Team Eubank, what would be the terms for you guys to accept that fight? Do you want to know exactly what happened from Conor Benn? Do you want the UCAD investigations to play out?
What are we going to ask for? This 2,700-page document and read through that? No, I mean, we have to go by what the governing bodies are telling us. That's as simple as that. I mean, it's not an explanation. What do we require? We would have to discuss the terms of the fight. I mean, that would be it. But right now, it's not our beeswax, so to speak.
Just final question on this. Obviously, Conor said that he did request the B sample, contrary to what reports were saying that he didn't. As promoter, how does the process work? Were you notified of this or not?
No. We're not notified because we're not Conor Benn's promoter, so to speak, of name, that's obviously that's Eddie and Frank, and no, we're not involved in B samples and Conor Benn samples and anything else. We were notified of one result and one result only, and that result was the one from VADA, which came around give or take the 27th of 25th, 26th, 27th of September. But was it 2 weeks before the fight? There we were in CC because it was part of our contract to have random testing done. That random testing was performed by VADA. VADA which is voluntary from everyone. That was positive. The British board tests were all negative.
There we have it. Well, Kalle, appreciate your time. It's getting late, so I'll let you go off for dinner or
for a press conference. It's 8:30 at night.
weigh-ins at what, 6 tomorrow?
Misfits press conferences and weigh-ins. We're shaking it up.
That's live on DAZN this Saturday night.
Live
Appreciate
on
it.
DAZN this Saturday. Tune in.